So Kevin Costner, one of my favorite actors. So this is really disappointing to say. Kevin Costner and his production companies behind his film Horizon: An American Saga, the multi-part film series, they are being sued by the stunt performer of the second installment due to an unscripted rape scene, right? So trigger warning on this if that's something that is going to be uncomfortable for you, right? The stunt performer in question, pictured here, Devin LaBella, saying, quote, "On that day, I was left exposed, unprotected, and deeply betrayed by a system that promised safety and professionalism. What happened to me shattered my trust and forever changed how I move through this industry," end quote. Officially, she's suing them for sexual discrimination, harassment, and the creation of a hostile work environment. In response to this, Costner's lawyer, Marty Singer, said, quote, "Kevin always wants to make sure that everyone is comfortable working on his films and takes safety on set very seriously. However, this claim by Devin LaBella has absolutely no merit and is completely contradicted by her own actions. And the facts, Miss LaBella is a serial accuser of people in the entertainment industry and has worked with the same lawyer on past claims. But those shakedown tactics won't work in this case," end quote. So, of course, like I mentioned, this is all related to Horizon: An American Saga. This is an epic Western film series. The hope is for it to be a franchise, but as of right now, we only have the one movie. I think the second film premiered recently at Venice. This is written, directed, and produced by Kevin Costner, who also stars in the film. And the first film was released last year, like kind of around this time, actually, I think, like early summer. And it was released to mixed reception and even worse box office. So the second film, which has already been shot and it was supposed to release in August, it was supposed to release just a couple months after the first one, was delayed indefinitely. And I think now it's supposed to be coming out this year, but I mean, we're about halfway through the year and we still don't have like a release date for that. So the event in question that these accusations are related to is related to events on May 2nd, 2023. So when they were filming parts of the second installment, even though they were kind of filming both at the same time. So it was all part of this one mega production. So LaBella claims that she was forced to double for one of the main actresses, Ella Hunt, in an unscripted rape scene without proper notice of or the presence of a contractually necessary intimacy coordinator as part of SAG's contract rules, right? Ella Hunt was also upset. So apparently there was a scripted rape scene that they had filmed the day before, but then the next day, they came up with this other scene with a different male character sexually assaulting Ella Hunt's character. Ella Hunt was very taken aback and upset by this, and refused to participate in the filming of this scene. So they brought LaBella in, and Costner allegedly called for the male actor Roger Ivins to simulate non-consensual sex with Hunt's character, who in this was being portrayed or being played by LaBella. Again, there was no real prior notice. She kind of agreed to it, just kind of because of it would be awkward to say no, and you know, she's obviously talking to Kevin Costner. You're not gonna say no to Kevin Costner. And there was no intimacy coordinator present, despite their needing to be one per the contract. So that was an issue in and of itself. And then she faced retaliation after reporting the incident, right? After reporting it, she wasn't asked back for further work on the film series and almost kind of got blackballed in the stunt work community. And her career came to a quote-unquote abrupt halt, with the lawsuit outlining, quote, "The workplace and stunt work in general, which was once a source of purpose and fulfillment, is now a place of heightened apprehension, and the whole experience has left Miss LaBella feeling disposable and worthless. The impact of this impromptu work demand on Miss LaBella has been profound, not only upending a career Miss LaBella spent years building, but leaving her with permanent trauma that she will be required to address for years to come," end quote. Because again, like, it's uncomfortable to have someone, even if it's just simulated, to have someone on top of you simulating rape. Especially if you were not prepared for it, you weren't walked through it by an intimacy coordinator, and this is why intimacy coordinators are so important, right? Imagine if it was a fight scene. We would never allow a fight scene to be unchoreographed, because the actors are like, oh, it'll just feel more natural that way if we just do it. No! Like, that's what people say about, like, intimate scenes or sex scenes. Like, oh, like, that would ruin the magic. It's like, no, your job as the actor is to bring the magic. It's all fake. So, like, get a grip, work with an intimacy coordinator, practice beforehand, rehearse what you're going to do, right? These sexual and intimate scenes, especially if they're depicting sexual violence, should always be rehearsed and cleared with the participants in those scenes. Because you may consciously know it's a scene, but your body doesn't know that. It might react. It might, develop trauma because you're being raped, even if you're not actually being raped, right? LaBella's attorney, James A. Vanini, I think is how you say his last name. Sorry, James. Said, quote, "This suit is filed not only for the damages plaintiff has sustained, but to address the continued failures at the highest levels of Hollywood production companies to comprehend and address the impacts of performing in sexually explicit and violent scenes and the need for intimacy coordination," end quote. So, according to Costner's lawyer, that that LaBella is a serial accuser and just makes stuff up. But I mean, again, I tend to believe women in these scenarios. Because just because they're saying yes doesn't mean that they're not being coerced or they don't feel like they're being pressured, right? And you as the man, or in this case, the producer, the director, like, you should know you shouldn't have put her in a situation where she would have to decide if she's going to agree to it or not. You should never have asked her or you never should have put her in that situation in the first place. So, again, this is really disappointing because I really like Kevin Costner, and he seems like, all things considered, like a good dude. And when I first saw these headlines, I was like, did Kevin Costner sexually assault someone? So I'm at least glad it's not something like that, but it's still not a good look, and it's really not good. And hopefully we get to the truth. The truth comes out about this, because no one should ever be in a situation like this. Wow, what an interesting story. I'm sure you have some thoughts about the topic, so comment below, let me know what you think. Also, don't forget to like and subscribe. It really, really helps people find the channel and makes me feel all warm inside. Until next time, I'm Peter Mancuso. Peace out.